Are you tired of searching for real, strange people? Then here's some good news. From the darkest corners of history, there were humans so unusual they were called kings of the stage. Where did they go? How did they survive? What did they really look like? And where did they come from? All these answers are in this video because this will lead you to the 15 strangest humans from the historical freak shows. Just make sure to watch until the very end. And once you do, tell us what you think about these incredible and strange individuals. Number 15. Julia Pastrana. Julia Pastrana, born in Sinaloa, Mexico in 1834, had hypertrichosis terminalis, covering her face and body with thick black hair, alongside gingival hyperplasia, giving her an enlarged jaw and gums. She stood at just 1.34 meters tall and possessed a powerful singing voice, performing dances such as the Highland Fling while speaking multiple languages. In 1854, she married her manager, Theodore Lent, and together they toured the United States and Europe in freak shows, billed under names like Baboon Lady, Ape Woman, and Nondescript. Her son, born in 1860 in Moscow, inherited her condition but died shortly after birth. Julia herself passed away 5 days later due to childbirth complications. Lent had both their bodies embalmed and displayed them for decades in museums and freak shows. In 2013, after more than 150 years, her remains were finally returned to Mexico and buried in her native Sinaloa, ending a long and unusual exhibition history. Number 14. William Henry Johnson, Zip the Pinhead. A small figure shuffled across circus tents, drawing whispers before recognition struck. William Henry Johnson, known as Zip the Pinhead, was born with microcephaly, a condition producing an abnormally small head that shaped his distinct appearance. In the late 19th century, he entered the world of sideshows, performing in traveling circuses across the United States. Over approximately 67 years, he entertained an estimated 100 million spectators, captivating audiences with his unique looks and stage presence. Costumes were often tailored to exaggerate proportions, enhancing the dramatic effect of his small stature and head. Despite decades under bright lights, his health gradually declined, leading to his admission at Bellevue Hospital. He passed away in 1926, leaving behind a legacy of extensive performances and widespread recognition in circus history. Burial took place at Bound Brook Cemetery, where his gravestone marks the site with his name and dates. Memorabilia and posters of Zip persisted for decades in sideshow collections. Number 13. Grady Stiles, Lobster Boy. A man with clawed hands crawled onto the stage, capturing attention immediately. Grady Franklin Stiles Jr., later known as Lobster Boy, was born with ectrodactyly, a congenital condition causing fused fingers and toes that resembled lobster claws. His family carried the same condition across generations, with both his father and children exhibiting similar limb deformities. Stiles performed in sideshows, often using his arms for mobility because walking normally proved difficult, and costumes were designed to emphasize his unique hands. Alcoholism affected him throughout his life, and his personal behavior was frequently abusive. In 1978, an incident escalated violently when he shot and killed his daughter's fiancé, later confessing and being convicted of third-degree murder. Despite decades in the public eye performing, his life was marred by both physical limitations and legal troubles. Grady Stiles passed away in 1992, leaving a controversial legacy in sideshow history. Number 12. Maximilian, Human Ostrich. A metallic clang echoed as the performer lifted nails toward his mouth, astonishing spectators. Known simply as Maximilian, he became famous in sideshow lore as the human ostrich, swallowing small metal objects like nails, screws, and hardware during public exhibitions. Details about his birth, upbringing, or personal life remain obscure, and records are sparse, leaving his origins largely a mystery. Chemung County Historical Society recounts the so-called human ostrich scandal, suggesting at least one performer seriously adopted this persona for entertainment purposes. Audiences often gasped at the visual spectacle, as stage lights reflected off the metallic items he ingested. Traveling circuses incorporated his act alongside sword swallowers, fire eaters, and contortionists, emphasizing shock value and physical endurance. Props were meticulously arranged to maintain the illusion, while spectators were sometimes seated at a distance for safety. Despite fascination, historical verification is difficult, and some aspects may be exaggerated or mythologized over time. Number 11. Elaine Davidson, Most Pierced Woman. Crowds paused as metallic glints covered a performer from head to toe, drawing immediate attention. Elaine Davidson, a Brazilian-Scottish woman, initially trained and worked as a nurse before pursuing extreme body modifications professionally. By May 2000, she had 462 piercings, including 192 on her face, earning her Guinness World Records certification as the most pierced woman. Over the next several years, the number of piercings multiplied rapidly, reaching 4,225 by 2003 and reportedly 6,005 by 2009, with the total weight of internal piercings estimated at around 3 kilograms. Beyond traditional piercings, she engaged in extreme performances, including sleeping on beds of nails, walking on broken glass, and traversing flames. Television appearances, tattoos, and piercing conventions showcased her work, while she also practiced divination and clairvoyance, blending mystical elements with spectacle. Stage lighting reflected off each metallic piece, creating dazzling visual effects. Number 10. Tom Thumb, Charles Sherwood Stratton. Stage lights reflected off a miniature figure performing intricate impersonations. P.T. Barnum discovered Charles Sherwood Stratton, born January 4, 1838, who stopped growing around 6 months due to dwarfism. He sang, danced, and acted while touring internationally, performing in circuses and exhibitions across Europe and the United States. Stratton married Lavinia Warren in 1863, a wedding widely covered in newspapers. Wealth accumulated through ticket sales and international tours allowed him to meet royalty and attend high-profile events. Audiences observed his small stature, highlighted by tailored costumes, stage props, and careful choreography. Performances included impersonations of famous historical and political figures, adding theatrical variety to his act. His career spanned decades, blending novelty and entertainment through constant public appearances. Smithsonian Archives preserve one of his top hats used during shows, serving as a material record of performance practices. Stratton died July 15, 1883, and was interred in accordance with his family's arrangements, leaving behind documented sideshow records. And now let's move to number 9, Josephine Myrtle Corbin, Four-Legged Woman. Performances in traveling circuses highlighted unusual anatomy for public exhibition. Josephine Myrtle Corbin was born in 1868 in Lincoln County, Tennessee, with a rare congenital condition known as dipygus, resulting in 2 separate pelvises and 4 legs. Only the upper pair of legs functioned normally for walking, while the additional pair extended from her lower torso, often restrained in costumes or highlighted during performances. Exhibitors billed her as the Four-Legged Woman, attracting large audiences in sideshows across the United States. Medical examinations documented her condition extensively, with physicians noting internal organs duplicated partially in accordance with the second pelvis. She married at age 23 and bore 5 children, none of whom inherited the dipygus condition. Stage presentations frequently included choreographed walks and seated displays to emphasize her physical uniqueness. Photographs and posters from the era depict her in tailored garments designed to reveal or accentuate the lower limbs. Number 8. Peter the Wild Boy. Around 1725, a 12-year-old boy was found in the forests near Hamelin, Germany, moving on all fours and feeding on forest vegetation. Known as Peter the Wild Boy, he could not speak and exhibited behaviors that modern researchers associate with Pitt-Hopkins syndrome. Princess Caroline arranged for him to be brought to England, where he spent time at the court of King George I. He later lived on a farm in Berkhamsted, Hertfordshire, wearing a leather collar inscribed with his name and residence to prevent wandering. Clothing and daily routines were adapted to his needs, including specially made shoes and garments to accommodate mobility. Scientific observers and visitors recorded details about his physical traits, walking style, and dietary habits. He occasionally participated in demonstrations for guests, showing movements reminiscent of his forest life. Peter continued to reside in Berkhamsted for many years, with reports noting his distinctive behaviors, feeding habits, and the adjustments made for his presence in domestic and public spaces. Number 7. Fedor Jeftichuk. A performer with canine features appeared in European exhibition halls, attracting large audiences through unusual appearances. Fedor Jeftichuk, born in 1868 in St. Petersburg, Russia, suffered from hypertrichosis, a condition causing excessive hair growth across the body and face, giving him a dog-like appearance. He began performing in sideshows as a child and was eventually managed by P.T. Barnum for exhibitions in the United States. Stage costumes were tailored to emphasize facial hair patterns, jaw structure, and overall physique, enhancing the spectacle of his canine likeness. Demonstrations included sitting, walking, and posing to highlight hair density and movement. Barnum billed him as Jojo the Dog-Faced Boy, and he toured extensively in circuses and sideshow halls across Europe and America. Performances were scheduled alongside sword swallowers, contortionists, and other physical anomalies. Fedor's appearances were documented in newspapers, posters, and promotional materials, providing detailed accounts of show locations, audience sizes, and stage arrangements. Number 6. Mary Ann Bevan. Mary Ann Bevan, born Mary Ann Webster in London in 1874, developed acromegaly, causing enlarged facial features and bodily growth. Before this, she worked as a nurse and later entered sideshow exhibitions to earn a living. Showmen such as Samuel W. Gumpertz displayed her at Coney Island's Dreamland, and with the Ringling Brothers, often designing costumes to fit her physique and highlight unique features. Stage setups included specific lighting and seating to optimize audience viewing of her profile and posture. Photography sessions captured facial distortions, hands, and overall stage presence for promotional purposes. She traveled to multiple exhibition locations across the United States, appearing alongside other sideshow performers. Publicity materials emphasized her acromegalic features, sometimes exaggerating proportions for audience attraction. Daily routines involved makeup, wardrobe adjustments, and adherence to show schedules. Mary Ann Bevan continued performing until her death in 1933, leaving concrete historical records of her exhibitions, performance schedules, and documented participation in early 20th century sideshow circuits. Now it's time for number 5. Robert Wadlow. In 1918, Robert Wadlow was born in Alton, Illinois, eventually reaching a height of 8 feet 11 inches due to hyperplasia of the pituitary gland, which caused excessive growth hormone production. Shoes were specially made, sometimes exceeding 37 centimeters in length, while custom clothing accommodated his increasing stature. Wadlow traveled with the Ringling Brothers Circus and other exhibition circuits, performing at stages set up for optimal visibility and safety. He required leg braces to assist mobility, and his walking pattern was closely observed by attendants. Publicity materials included photographs, posters, and newspaper coverage emphasizing height measurements, arm span, and clothing proportions. He toured extensively across the United States, occasionally meeting officials and dignitaries who documented his appearances in local media. Specialized furniture, transportation arrangements, and seating were prepared for performances and public events. Despite mobility challenges, he attended promotional events and participated in staged demonstrations. Number 4. Edouard Beaupré. Edouard Beaupré was born in 1881 in Willowbunch, Saskatchewan, Canada, and grew to a height of approximately 8 feet 3 inches due to gigantism. He began performing in traveling circuses as a teenager, including sideshows and exhibitions in Canada and the United States, billed as a human giant. Mobility was limited by his height, requiring assistance for walking, and clothing and footwear were custom-made. Stages and exhibition spaces were adapted to accommodate his stature. Beaupré performed alongside acrobats, contortionists, and other physical anomaly acts, demonstrating feats such as lifting heavy objects or posing for photographs. Publicity materials and posters emphasized height, arm span, and proportions. He suffered from health complications associated with gigantism throughout his life, including joint problems and cardiac stress. Despite fame, he faced physical limitations and early mortality. Edouard Beaupré died in 1904 at age 23. Number 3. Minnie Woolsey, Coo Coo the Bird Girl. A small bird-like figure moved on stage, capturing attention through unique posture and features. Minnie Woolsey, born in the late 19th century in Georgia, had Seckel syndrome, which caused short stature, a distinct cranial shape, and facial deformities. She performed under the stage name Coo Coo the Bird Girl in traveling sideshows and circuses, including venues across the United States. Costumes and props emphasized posture, head tilt, and arm movements reminiscent of a bird, while stage setups were designed for audience visibility. She lived under the supervision of show managers, with routines carefully controlled due to physical limitations. Photography and promotional posters highlighted facial and bodily features, clothing adaptations, and performance arrangements. She faced social and physical exploitation, traveling extensively and performing in demanding conditions. Stage lighting, positioning, and props accentuated unusual features for spectators. Minnie Woolsey died in the mid-20th century. Number 2. Sandy Allen, tallest woman of modern times. Chicago, Illinois, was the birthplace of Sandy Allen on June 18, 1955. She developed pituitary gigantism caused by a tumor on her pituitary gland, resulting in a final height of 7 feet 7 inches. Surgical treatment of the tumor occurred in 1977, though growth remained extraordinary. Clothing, footwear, and furniture were custom-made to fit her stature. Film and television appearances included Fellini's Casanova, 1976, and the TV movie Sideshow, 1981, with stage and set arrangements emphasizing visibility and proportion. Public events required ramps, seating adaptations, and careful transport planning to accommodate mobility limitations. Medical difficulties increased over time, and she used a wheelchair in later years due to leg and back strain. Performance schedules and exhibition layouts accounted for height-related challenges. Detailed measurements were recorded during appearances, including arm span and leg length, often used in promotional materials. Stage lighting, costumes, and positioning were adjusted for audience observation. Number 1. Jesus Chuy Aceves. Jesus Chuy Aceves, born in 1968 in Laredo, Zacatecas, Mexico, has congenital hypertrichosis, causing excessive hair growth on his face and body. He comes from a large family with over a dozen relatives also affected by the condition. Aceves performed in circuses and sideshows in Mexico, England, and the United States, often under the nickname El Hombre Lobo, or the Wolfman. Stage setups included tailored costumes, lighting, and positioning designed to highlight hair patterns, facial features, and body proportions. Promotional materials and photographs emphasized hair distribution and unique physique, while performances included pose displays, walking, and interaction with audiences. His life involved extensive travel, structured performance schedules, and adaptations for physical needs. Media accounts and documentaries document his experiences with discrimination, alcoholism, and exploitation in the circus and sideshow circuit. Aceves continues to participate in performances and cultural events, illustrating both the public fascination with hypertrichosis and the challenges faced by individuals living with rare congenital conditions. History holds people whose lives challenged the ordinary and captured attention in ways words can barely describe. Their stories are shocking, fascinating, and full of remarkable details that demand to be shared. Watch closely, and you'll see the extraordinary etched in every performance, every struggle, and every moment of survival. If you find these accounts as gripping as they are, like, comment, and share to spark conversations and bring others into this world of unusual history. Subscribe for more deep dives into the past, and thank you for your time and for watching this video till here.